So what we do know is that African Americans have been contracting COVID anywhere from twice to 3 times more than the rest of the population. So research shows us that. So the question then is why? Why do African Americans contract COVID-19 more than anyone else?
I'm going to have to talk a little bit of science.
That's all
on
right.
our Sabbath.
That's fine. Hey, God created science. It's part of creation. Have at it.
Yeah. I'm going to give us the science. And it's not just based on we don't go to the doctor. It's not based on we have diabetes, hypertension, and comorbidities. It's based on the concept that no one really is talking about is and one that very few people even understand is that we have what is called a polymorphism. And I'm gonna go into I'm gonna use that big word polymorphism, but I'm gonna clean it up, Dr. Thomas. I promise you, I'm gonna clean it up and make it legible and understandable for just the average audience. I'm gonna break it down in a way that I hope we can understand. Polymorphism, the word is like if you had if you want an ice cream cone and you went to Baskin Robbins or ice cream shop and you looked in a case and you saw 30 different ice creams in there. They're all ice cream, but they're different types of ice cream. So we have a protein in our body that is sitting right in the pathway of processing this virus. So let me show you how this works. Remember I talked to you about the virus coming into the cell. Once it gets in the cell and it does this dirty work of turning off the sprinkler system. Well, the body has a way to clip off a piece of the virus. And it clips off a piece of the virus and it takes it and it escorts that piece of the virus outside of the cell and it sticks it outside of the cell on a flagpole. And that alerts the rest of the body that cell is infected, that it's been invaded by something. Please send the cavalry. Please send the fire department. Please send the soldiers to help this cell out. So you have the virus, you have the body being able to clip off a piece of the virus and put it outside of the cell so that the body can recognize that cell is infected. The enzyme that clips off a piece of that virus has a polymorphism. In blacks, our way of clipping a virus off has a problem. But guess what? It's not us we're not the only ones. Italians have a polymorphism in this enzyme. An enzyme is called ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme, ACE. ACE, if your listening audience want to go look it up and Google it on the internet, you can look up ACE. ACE is the enzyme. And we have a polymorphism in that enzyme, which is important in processing the virus and putting a piece of it outside of the cell so that the body can recognize it as a foreign invader. Because we have a polymorphism in that enzyme, we don't respond to ACE inhibitors. Black people don't respond to ARBs. And the reason is because it is polymorphism that we don't respond to those medicines. It's the same reason that we don't affect the processing of the cell, because we have a polymorphism. And I didn't say a defect. I just said a different flavor of ice cream of this enzyme. So that's the reason, that's the physiological, that's the science behind why we're more susceptible. And guess what, Dr. Thomas? Italians have the same polymorphism. Latinos and Hispanics have the same polymorphism. And there's another group that has a polymorphism, that polymorphism, the ACE polymorphism, and that's Native Americans. So we have a polymorphism. If you go and look at the most vulnerable populations, what happened in Italy?
Right.
Italy was devastated, but they sitting next to other countries that weren't that devastated because their populations didn't have the polymorphism. And so this polymorphism places us in a more vulnerable state because we can't mount the same type of immune response in the speed that we need to mount it. And now you have a slowed immune response to a virus that can set fires and get going and start doing tissue damage. That's a brewing storm. And we're talking about we're going to throw our kids into an environment where we know they're going to get COVID-19. I just can't imagine. It's just, I'm so clear about what is going to happen to our kids that go back into this environment. I'm very clear about this. We're placing them in at death's door.
My God. Wow. So yeah, I had never heard anyone talk. I haven't done any research on it either. I just took their word for it, and most of them said it's because of our occupations, African Americans' occupations, our susceptibility. It's because we tend not to be able to work from home because of that. We tend to be in tighter quarters in terms of our living experience, so forth and so on. Inadequate access to health care, any number of reasons, but never have I heard the conversation about the polymorphisms, the ACE polymorphisms.
Dr. Thomas, when you talk about those reasons, those have to do with things that could actually excel the process. What I'm talking about is why we actually have this disparity, the physical reason why we have. Surely, if you're in a smaller population, a highly dense population where you have 10 people in the home versus person that has 3 in the home, you have a higher chance of contracting it. But that's not a disparity. Other people, or Caucasians could have, you're saying, if they have 10 in the home, then they have a higher chance of contracting it. No, we're not saying that. We're saying that if someone with 10 in the home that are African American and someone with Caucasians with 10 in the home, the African Americans are going to get the virus infection faster, and it's going to be more deadly because they have a different ice cream enzyme that is different flavor than the Caucasian one, and it causes them to be more susceptible because they can't alert the body to the infection. I mean, I didn't mean to get this deep on the Sabbath day.
No, but that's good. That's good. That's good.
I believe that we have to have some knowledge.
Yes, sir.
In order to protect ourselves.
Yes.
And so we can address this issue of polymorphism because we can screen for it, but we aren't. We could address this issue of polymorphism to help us learn how we can defeat this virus, but we aren't. And so that's the point that I'm making, is that we can talk about these public health things. They really don't add up to why you get infected as an African American person. And I'm here to bring that information to you.
Hey, so if I'm working at a PWI and they say, oh, everybody got to come back, I say, oh, no way. It's out of the question. I'm more susceptible because I understand the ACE polymorphisms.
You just have empowered people to understand why we are susceptible to this.
I'll be at the house. Hit me up on Zoom.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
So
I mean, you're making it real on this show,
yeah,
Dr. Thomas, and thank you so much for your leadership on that. I mean, I'm here just to give the facts. I'm here to give the information that many people probably don't know, and hopefully I can transmit that information in a way that people can understand it. That's why I'm here.
absolutely.
We're gonna. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely, absolutely.